Alright, Algebra 2, this is 5.2 Day 2 or Part 2. In the first video we did focus on long division of polynomials. This time we're going to focus on something called synthetic division. Synthetic division is actually long division in a way. It divides polynomials, but I think it's a slightly faster method. Now, eventually, the whole idea of this synthetic division or dividing is to actually start to factor polynomials, larger polynomials. So, you're going to be given a polynomial, and you got your parts here, your dividend, your divisor, and the biggest thing about using synthetic is that this divisor has to be mostly a linear function, as in x plus 3 and x minus 3 and x minus or x plus something, because you need to figure out what, if you set this equal to 0, what would it be? And so in this case, x plus 3 equals 0, I would subtract 3, so x equals a negative 3. That is the key. That is your divisor that goes here. So you would put negative 3 up in that corner. I have coefficients. This is an upside down backwards L that we're going to use. It's slightly different than what the book uses. Across the top here is all of your coefficients from here, from the polynomial you're being divided into. Same as when we did long division, absolutely important that you have any placeholders be placed into there. Okay, and then I will explain how to do this process after we get it set up. So first setup, upside down backwards L. So I gotta restart that part. We need our placeholders for anything that's the coefficients here. As we can see, there are no things missing. So 3, 2, 1, and then 0 power of the constant. So these coefficients go here, 2, 3, negative 4, and 15. Leave yourself a little bit of space. Our negative 3 has to go here on the outside. And then what I'm going to do is you're going to put a box here, right below 15. Now, what this is that this is your remainder. This is what's left over when you do your synthetic division. Just like before, where we had this problem, and you had 19 left over. So that's what it's going to be. So this particular problem itself, with negative a minus 10, that negative a and minus 10 would have been here. And we're going to see that in a second. It's going to be kind of cool. And so we're going to be able to build a quadratic using division, synthetic division, here with a remainder. Now the rules are essentially kind of the same, but with a slight different twist. You just multiply, subtract. Okay? Okay, I messed up on that one. I meant to say you add. So the first step you're going to do is you're going to, first thing, you have to drop the 2 down, right? The first coefficient down here. So there's going to be slightly different than when we did long division. You need to multiply your number outside to the number you drop down. So negative 3 times 2, which is negative 6. And then you're going to add going down. So it's always add, down, multiply, up. So 3 plus negative 6 is negative 3. And then we're going to multiply. Negative, negative makes it positive. 3 times 3 is 9. Add 5. Negative 3 times 5, negative 15. The remainder is 0. Now, here's a really cool thing. You're like, I don't see no polynomial in this. That's because these are the coefficients on the new polynomial. And the biggest thing you need to do is you need to remember that this is your constant. These are your x's, your x squareds. The next ones would be x cubed and x to the 4th. Well, guess what? There are none of these. So therefore, I have 2x squared minus 3x plus 5. And the remainder is 0, so I don't have to talk about it. So that's how you do synthetic division. So here's the next problem. And the next problem, again, I don't need placeholders as I can see, because it goes all the way down to here. Actually, that's the exact same problem. I forgot that I was going to set it up in the last one and then do it here. Here we go. This one, I need placeholders. And so, I need to make an upside down backwards L. I need to solve this for y. So 4y minus 1 equals 0, or 4y equals 1, y equals 1/4. Oh boy. Yes, you can have fractions on the outside. It is perfectly fine. So now when I start to put my coefficients across, I'm hoping you guys notice you're missing actually two of them. I'm missing a y cubed and a y. And so I have to do 8, -2, 0 for the cubes, minus 16, 0, and 4. And 4 is where I'm going to stop. It's my last, it's my constant. So you drop down the 8, because really you're adding the 0 that's not here, right? There's nothing here, so we're going to add down. And then multiply. 1/4 of an eighth is a 4, and then add 2. 1/4 times 2 is 1/2, and 1/2 plus 0 is 1/2. 1/4 times 1/2 is 1/8. Oh boy. So this is the limitations of using synthetic, is that sometimes you will have to use fractions. Most of the time you will not have to use fractions. And if I use this, let's see, that would be -16 plus 1/8, and that's really over 1. I got to get a common denominator. That is a lot. Let's see. I have to multiply the top and bottom by 8. So I end up with 8 on the bottom, but 16 times 8. Well, 16 times 10 is 80. And 8 times 6 is 48. So 80 plus 48 is 126. So I get 127 over 8. So 127 over 8. And then I got to multiply that by 1/4. Now that's actually not too bad, because technically it's 1 times 127 and 4 times 8. So that would be 127 over 32. And that's 127 over 32. Now I got to multiply that by 4. 127 is still on top because you're multiplying it by 1. What's 32 times 4? That's 4 times 30 is 120, 128. So it's just actually under 1. So now I have to add those together. And so this becomes 4 over 1 plus 127 over 128. So I need to multiply by 128 over 128. So 128 on the bottoms. 4 times 128. So 128 times 4, that's a 32, so I carry the 3. That ends up being 8, so 11, carry the 1, so 4, 512. So I get 512 over 128 plus 127 over 28. And if I add those together to 127, I get 936. So I get 639 over 128. That is your remainder. So you actually got to create the polynomial out of this. We just did the long division. Now this is faster than probably doing long division, because you still end up with those same coefficients, those same numbers, but it definitely makes it a lot easier. I'm going to shrink up all of this work and throw it to the bottom here. It's because this is your constant x, x squared, x cubed, x to the fourth. So I have 8x to the fourth plus 2x cubed plus 1/2 x squared plus 127 over 8x plus 127 over 32 plus, I gotta move this stuff now, plus the remainder, 639 over 128. This is your answer when you do your long division. So make sure your upside down L, your divisor, solve for 0 goes here, your coefficients with placeholders, the zeros for the missing things, bring the first number down, multiply down, or multiply up to get up to here, and then add down. Multiply, add, multiply, add. Okay? Keep doing that, things will go easier. Now, going to our homework. Today, you're going to do 3 through 6 on this one. It's the exact same problems you did before with long division. I want you to take a look at your answers that you get for doing synthetic and look at your answers you got from doing long division, and they should be the exact same. Just remember, long division, you have to subtract. Synthetic, you add. Have a great day.